Yo, check the rhythm, feel the vibe, beats dropping hard, making heads collide, bass thumping loud, shaking up the street. Every step I take, moving to the beat, lightning fast, I'm breaking it down, feeling the pulse in every sound, never miss a step, always on the move. The beat's my partner, we groove as 1, 2. Close my eyes and let the music flow in this crazy world. It's the only thing I know.
From a snowy Grand Prairie, I guess the snow is just stopped a little bit. It is a 4A provincial championship between the Holy Trinity Academy Knights and the hometown St. Joseph Celtics. Hello everyone and welcome to Lincoln Hansen Field. Welcome to the broadcast booth. Connor Toffin joined by Rob Harrod. Rob, we've been talking about it all throughout the day. It looks like the weather has gotten a little bit better, but still a ton of snow out there on the field today.
There is, yeah, and it's changing throughout the game. Like even the last one started like, hey, we were hopeful it was going to stay nice, and actually the snow came down in chunks, and so again it has stopped. They've had a chance to clear some of the field, and the crew here for the ASAA and the volunteers here in Grand Prairie are doing a great job of keeping these conditions the best possible conditions they can have for a snowy November day. But I anticipate we'll see some snow throughout this game, even though it's not falling now. Hopefully it doesn't fall. Sometimes it's a little bit better football when it's a little bit clearer.
For sure. So let's take a quick look here at the road to Grand Prairie for both of these two teams. Taking a look at the bracket, a bit of a different path here. Holy Trinity Academy beating Medicine Hat 44-10 in the quarterfinals before taking down a strong Georgia McDougall team 57-24. St. Joseph's and Austin O'Brien playing a really close matchup in the quarterfinals, 41-36 before playing Cold Lake. Bit of an easier one there last Saturday, 44-20. The last two times these teams matched up was in week 1 of the regular season. Rob, it was a 45-7 win for the Knights.
So the Knights clearly took advantage of the early season matchup. They set the tone that they want to have, but we're a long ways from there. And St. Joe's have come a long ways. It sounds like they took a little bit of time to come together as a team and just all that development of the team that they have, but they do have a heavy graduating class this year, so it's kind of all or nothing for a lot of those players. And St. Joe's is going to need to find a way to turn the tide on that. And again, it's tough to do that, but I think they'll be able to do that if they look deep into their playbook and into their preparation, which is always important to do.
There is strong support for the Knights here today. Apparently 50 or a little bit more parents, family came down, chartered a flight to come and support the Knights, but this will be a very strong Celtics home crowd today. At least that's what we are expecting. We'll talk about it right after the player intros.
Number 1, Thomas Rowan. Number 2, Caden McCullough. Number 3, Jack Biorgi. Number 4, Ben Gudek. Number 5, Wyatt Koopman. Number 6, Ben Hayden. Number 7, Jaden Dore. Number 8, Jackson Hand. Number 9, Avery Laliberty. Number 10, Nash Marzoff. Number 11, Ashton Power. Number 12, Declan Lith. Number 13, Reese Jensen. Number 14, Tavish Johnson. Number 18, Eamon Cunningham. Number 19, Ryan Maloney. Number 20, Eric Morrow. Number 21, Carter Stewart. Number 22, Brendan Peterson. Number 25, Ferris Funk. Number 26, Carter Kuntz. Number 28, Austin Hannaran. Number 29, Zach Zenterner. Number 31, Armin Shaper. Number 32, Ryerson Power. Number 33, Seth Polzer. Number 35, Daniel Bowers. Number 42, Jackson Porter. Number 43, Jesse Miller. Number 44, Lincoln Stewart. Number 46, James Curse. Number 52, Phineas Walter. Number 54, Colton Friesen. Number 55, Cade Hugard. Number 56, Everett Penner. Number 58, Andrew Jansen. Number 60, Faze Mahoon. Number 63, Joseph Phillips. Number 64, Matthew Callahan. Number 66, Jackson Dundas. Number 68, Gavin Spears. Number 71, Alex Hunter. Number 75, Barack Osmond. Number 77, Nathan Barclay. Number 78, Lars Polgard. Number 80, Alex Horsman. Number 81, Malik Robbins. Number 82, Ezra Cornelson. Number 84, Cash Bugart. Number 86, Owen Rempel. Number 87, Isaac Martin. Number 88, Warner Danard. Number 89, Dawson Rodney. Number 90, Britton Bunard. Number 96, Ryan Shulzerinski. Number 97, Caden Hambler. And finally, number 99, Ryder McDougall. Also introducing head coach Matt Hassett and the rest of his staff from the Knights. And now introducing the players from your home team and the Northern Alberta champions, St. Joseph Celtics. Number 1, Brennan McFall. Number 2, Madden Morin. Number 3, Gage Noel. Number 4, Jaden Walsh. Number 5, Luke Lemaire. Number 6, Cohen Matheson. Number 7, Dylan Morin. Number 8, Cohen Boucher. Number 9, Caleb Orbel. Number 10, Trenton Peepgrass. Number 11, Alex Himstra. Number 12, Aiden Schmiller. Number 14, Jesse Walker. Number 15, Joseph Ilbach. Number 16, Caden Biette. Number 17, Jacob Slade. Number 18, Wyatt Stavist. Number 19, Nolan Eady. Number 20, Hayden Phillips. Number 21, Phoenix Fay. Number 22, Joseph Okafor. Number 23, Seth Blondin. Number 24, Thomas Lee. Number 26, Ethan Ruck. Number 27, Caden Kosniak. Number 28, Cedric Ouellette. Number 29, Riley Foster. Number 30, Logan North. Number 31, Aiden Hunt. Number 32, Preston Brickner. Number 33, Tayden Peltier. Number 34, Noah Walker. Number 36, Silver Barton. Number 38, Ryder Monteith. Number 39, Liam Dwyer. Number 40, Hudson Fournier. Number 44, Rowan Watchorn. Number 45, Cairo Pratt. Number 52, Derek Eady. Number 55, Osa Edimondo. Number 56, Denver Romes. Number 57, Coben Gladu. Number 59, Finley Grant. Number 60, Jackson Wiseman. Number 61, Caden Mankey. Number 65, Emmett Chason. Number 66, Cam Gallant. Number 70, John Quintel. Number 75, Jake McDonald. Number 79, Jackson Mayer. Number 80, Chaz Osborne. Number 88, Seamus Gilkison. Number 90, Ali Kolb. Number 94, Brett English. And finally, number 98, Marcus Tapson. And introducing head coach of the Celtics, Aaron Wales, and the rest of the staff of the Celtics. We also have Cooper Gass, Cale Taylor, Ryan McCauley, and Taylor Dalziel. You could turn your attention, everyone, to center field, where we'll call the captains forward for the coin toss. The officials for today's game are from the Calgary, Edmonton, Southern Alberta, and Mighty Peace Officials Associations. They are as follows: referee Larry Leduc, umpire Nick Whalen, line judge James Olson, down judge Bailey Grabmuller, back umpire John Peters, and back judge Rick Wright. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'll please ask if you could please rise and remove your hats and helmets, if able, for the reading of our treaty acknowledgement, following by the playing of our national anthem. At this time, we respectfully acknowledge the Beaver, Cree, Dene, and Métis people as the original caretakers of these lands and surrounding areas. We are grateful to live, learn, work, and play on Treaty 8 territory within Turtle Island, and acknowledge these lands have been home to diverse and sovereign First Nations and Inuit nations since time immemorial. And with that, now, here is our national anthem.
A good atmosphere here at Hanson Lincoln Field today. Good support for really both sides, I think. As we were talking about earlier, Rob, we are expecting a bit of a Celtics favored crowd today, and I think we talked a bit about how the start of this game is so important because of that.
Yeah, and we've got the Holy Trinity crowd right in front of our booth, so we'll keep tabs very closely on the energy on that side. But of course, the stands are just full, and the importance of that, and how do you flip the tide? How do they respond from the loss earlier in the season? It's actually not super uncommon. And again, back to our game, we actually Millwich Christian lost to Hannah in the season, and then we were able to turn the tides. And so the big question is, can St. Joe's find a way to do that? Can they find something, whether that's the energy of the crowd here, systematically, can they adjust to what they saw earlier in the year? This Knights team is very, very strong. They've got a dynamic running back who is just, his motor will never stop. They've got a quarterback, talked about being a pocket passer, able to throw the ball deep, navigate the pocket. We were able to see that on display in warm-up. Can he execute that type of offense with a balance between run, pass, both short and long in these types of conditions? And again, the sun is kind of coming out a little bit and shining. The clouds are dispersing. It could be an absolute gorgeous afternoon. The earlier one today had a lot of snowfall, and of course some of that's still on the field. Again, the crews in between games trying to clear as much as they can. We can see the numbers, the hash, and if no more snow falls, this is the way it's going to be for this game. But again, St. Joe's working on flipping the tide. What are they going to do? How can they adjust? And how can they respond to a very, very strong Knights team here we're going to see today?
It is the best weather we've probably had all weekend. Minus 13, wind blowing 13 kilometers from the left to the right of your screen as we are underway. Kickoff is fielded by Ben Gutek, taking it down the right side and out across the 50. Good starting field position for this game for the Knights.
Yeah, we've seen special teams today play both havoc and help teams as they transition through this snowy conditions. But again, great return, great starting field position. Again, the earlier game today, we saw them battle the field position place throughout the first half, and then things got going a little bit. But we'll see here what the Knights do. Again, coming out with the ability to throw and run the ball. We'll see where they start this one.
Declan Lith under center to start this game at quarterback. It's going to be a handoff out wide. Down the left side goes Polzer. Polzer is gone. One play, one touchdown, 60 yards to the house.
Well, and getting the information from the coaches, he talked about Polzer and how dynamic he can be, and he's just a workhorse, and again, just absolutely gone the distance. The defense absolutely stunned. You can see there, 2 missed tackles there, and there's no way he's catching them. Dives for the legs, but that is it. He is on the way to the end zone. What an outstanding opening play for the Knights. We knew they were going to be strong, but that is not how St. Joe's on defense wanted to start off today.
Knights said that he was probably the best running back in school history. They think he's the best running back as that extra point is up and good. Maybe the best running back in the province.
Yeah,
and maybe the best in the nation. He's a U of A commit next year, and they're going to look to him a lot today. Good start, 60 yards
just
on one
way
rush.
out in front. I mean, he looks like he's got a different gear than everybody else on the field on that run, just through the gap. Seems like St. Joe's defense was standing still in shock of the speed that he came with. And so again, what an opening. I mean, I can't even call it a drive.
Yeah.
This is an opening play, got points on the board up here early. So definitely not what St. Joe's wanted to do. They got to keep this one close throughout the day here. Again, stunned earlier in the year in their matchup. They've made some adjustments. We'll see how those adjustments are, but the defense is going to have to respond next time they get the opportunity to slow this offense down.
So one play, one quick strike, 34 seconds into this game, and the Knights, probably the favorites today, have taken an early 7-0 lead, and already the Celtics have some work to do. Kickoff nearing the end zone, fumbled around. Oh boy, who's got the football? Knights think they have it. They do, and it's down at the 1.
Unbelievable. What miscommunication and just a mishap. But you can see that ball, it starts to slide and slip a little bit more because of the snow. And again, the returner has got to secure that quickly. But again, his eyes come up because of the pressure. Doesn't get the ball in his hands. Dives at it. And that's what you teach the guys. Dive on the ball. Dive at the ball if it's bouncing around, because it squibbles around. And of course, what an outstanding cover team job by the Knights kick-off team there to put themselves in a huge position to get up on this one. And I can see in the far side of the end zone, there's a player down just off the edge of the field. So they may be on a hold here until that gets dealt with. You don't want to risk something happening over there. So they'll be working on that. No idea who that is over there. I think it's a white jersey, meaning it's St. Joe's. Definitely can't see from here what's going on, but we got the shot there. The players waiting. Again, they gave up a touchdown on one play for a long field, and now this defense is asked with a very, very difficult task. First and goal on their own one after the special teams problem.
Yeah, we talked about
Celtics had
the start to this game and just how important that would be for the Celtics with the home crowd coming in as an underdog. One offensive play, one kick return for the Knights, an offensive play, and then one kickoff for the Knights. And they are already 1 yard away from going up 13-0. Just plays into this game. Lith under center. Wonder where they're going here. Back to Polzer. Second run, second touchdown. Knights score again.
Yeah, 2 plays, 2 touchdowns. Not the script St. Joe's was hoping for. Definitely excited fans here for the Knights that are in front of us. Just seeing just an overwhelming wave of support, of course, from the fans here with the early lead. Just not even a minute into this one, and it's looking like it's going to be 14-0 after this convert if it's good. It's one way to keep it feeling warm out there is you score 2 touchdowns on them, 3 plays in the football game. That's the recipe for the Knights that they want. And there it is, 14-0.
Probably not that often that Carter Kuntz has been able to go out and score a couple points on the extra pointers. Less than 1 minute into this game. We are 57 seconds in, and the Knights are up by 14.
I mean, in the home crowd, they're just stunned here as well. I mean, again, they're playing just a couple hundred meters from their school on this gorgeous turf field, the stadium here that was built not long ago. Again, just absolutely stunned right now, and see if they can respond. But this is it's a huge mental challenge for St. Joe's. I mean, they knew coming in they were not favored likely to win. If there was an odds maker on high school football, the odds would be in favor of the Knights, but definitely not the start they were imagining.
Well, and I feel like, too, with Polzer in the backfield, and we have some questions today about how well teams are going to be able to pass in this type of atmosphere, these type of conditions. I feel like this just plays a little more into the hands of the Knights. So this takeoff.
And he is off to the races now.
Is almost gone across midfield. Much better kick return this time for Heemstra. And the Celtics, good starting field position for their offense, coming onto the field for the first time, down by 2 scores.
Well, if you need something to spark your team, this is exactly what you ask from your special teams, is get them going, get some energy back. Again, responding with their offense on the field. Finally, it got on, because again, it hasn't been on the field yet, and they're down 14-0. Their offense is on with great field position. They need to see what they can do, get some points going, and get a little bit of that momentum back if they can.
They'll hand it off. Right back to Heemstra, cutting down the right side. Oh my goodness! Heemstra! Touchdown! 53 yards!
What is this, 6-man football out here? What's going on? Let's go!
You guys.
Let's go! What a response from St. Joe's to be able to 2 plays. We got 2 offensive plays for one team, resulting in 2 touchdowns. 1 offensive play, or 2 offensive plays for the other, resulting in 1 touchdown, and it's looking like it's going to be 14-7, although they're lining up for potentially...
It looked like it for a moment. They are clearing
well, there is a wide receiver out here, so they're taking one guy out of the box just to make sure they're marking this properly.
Earlier in the game that we did up here in Grand Prairie, they did have the same formation on kickoffs. They did fake it once to go for 2. There is a flag as the extra point is up and good, so 3 offensive plays in this game, 3 touchdowns, and now this extra point still pending. That is the response that the Celtics needed, because things could have snowballed here really quickly. I mean, you go down 3 scores here in the first quarter, you're talking maybe game over
That's tough to overcome. And again, there's lots of football to be played and big plays happen, but we kind of waited for some of those big plays, and there was a few, but not many in the last game. And of course, yesterday's late game.
December 6th. The penalty be played on the kickoff. Convert is good.
I mean, yesterday's late game, we kind of waited for that to happen too. But again, just a few. Obviously, the 6-man game was a shootout.
100-50 for your Royals.
Well, we were able to execute our game plan to perfection, and we had the young athletes that really stepped up, and this is what we're waiting for, is more young athletes to step up, and we've seen it happen in different ways in this game already. So, again, lots of excitement, lots of things to cheer about, and again, St. Joe's, what a critical play there to respond very, very quickly with their own score here. And so now the penalty in that one is applied on the kickoff, so that's why they're lined up now at the 50 to kick this one off. And of course, huddled up, so the Knights want to be aware of potential short kick opportunities. You can see 10 of the 12 guys very close to the ball, so they're uptight not to give up something that could potentially result in a turnover, but lined up as normal. We'll see what happens here as the Knights look to get the ball back and respond in kind of their own.
Kickoff down the left side, taken by Jaden Dolray. Dolray down the middle across the 40, so Alex Heemstra with the response for the Celtics. New player to this team. He's in his senior season, came up from Whitecourt this last season. Highly versatile running back, seen him there. Was the recipient of last week's NFL Way to Play award as well for a nice kick return touchdown. Kick return and a run. Heemstra does it all. So, Rob, will we see our first defensive tackle?
Well, yeah, we'll see if we get a tackle there. Gage Noel on the special teams, tackle number 3, and he is in the heart of this defense as well. We'll see if he can keep that going and try to slow down this offense.
Another give up the middle. You see those powerful legs for Seth Polzer. Churns out 6-7 yards.
That was Cohen Boucher on the tackle, number 8. I caught that linebacker, both plays tight end a little bit as well. So again, even at this level with larger schools, larger rosters, you're still seeing the best athletes in those schools play both ways, right? And again, we will talk about that throughout the course of this game and see who the impact players are. But great first down yardage, 2nd and 3.
Lith under center, Polzer in the backfield. They're going to give it to Polzer again. Not a ton of space, but able to find the edge. Polzer across the 45, taken down across the 40.
So you tell you, the coach couldn't stop raving about this running back, and we can see why. Again, the anchor of this offense, you know, it's a snowy condition. You want to keep it safe, but man, when you can get 10, 12, 15 yards on a run, that's safe, but it's dynamic as well, and they are just churning through this defense right now on the ground. Now, they have made some tackles, and they're a little slower than the first drive, but definitely working that. The offensive line are coming downhill, and the back is following the escort.
On the Celtics 40. High snap. Ball's on the ground, and Lith is going to fall on it. A big loss of at least 15. They'll mark it at the Knights 53.
So, yeah, big loss. And we saw that a little bit in the earlier game. The losses are what was killing drives, and we'll see. You know, this is a dynamic offense, and we know they can run the ball very efficiently, but what are we looking at? 2nd and 26 here, and you know, they talked about this quarterback, and they made some comparisons to a Ben Roethlisberger who can stand in, throw the ball, deliver, and maybe take a shot if he needs to. So we'll see what they do here.
Polzer is in the slot here, running down the middle. Out of the pocket goes Lith, throwing on the run. Look at the arm, nearly intercepted, as it was in the hands for a moment of Thomas Lee. Not quite, but a stop for the Celtics defense.
You know, and in games like this, you can't afford to miss plays like that. This was an absolute gift for the secondary, and as he makes a break on this, he's in perfect position. If you look ahead of him on that replay, there was nothing but not green space, but white and green space ahead of him. He literally would have got that at least back to center, if not back to the house, because the only person out there ready to make a tackle was the quarterback after he rolled out. So missed opportunity. Yes, great stop, and they're going to get the ball back, but we'll see how the field position is, because that interception could have easily evened this game right at 14, just like that. So after being stunned, they had the opportunity to get it back. But they are going to get the ball back on offense. and their offense didn't have a whole lot of trouble moving the ball.
Trzynski is the kicker and punter. It was nearly blocked by one of the rushers. It'll bounce into the hands of the return man at about the 15 for the Celtics. That was Luke Lemire, turned out of bounds.
Yeah, just outside their 15. So again, missed opportunity on the interception. They do get the ball back, but they've got probably an extra 50 yards of this field to go. And so we'll see if they can respond with their running back in kind that has been just rolling through the first couple plays. Again, had a nice return. Hand them the ball. Why not, right? Give them the ball a few more times. We'll see how balanced they can also be. We talked about that in the last couple games. Is as the game goes on, who is going to have the opportunity to score with different ways and different people.
Another run here for Heemstra down the left side of the line.
And he's got some space, but there's a flag.
And there is a flag thrown at the 20. Heemstra would have a first down if this stands, but this is in the area of a hold.
Yeah, and a second flag came out from the side judge here just a little bit later. May have been looking at another hold. We'll see what happens here with the officials. They'll give us some information that we can talk about.
During the play, we had 2 infractions. Holding, number 70. Illegal block, number 8. That one would be declined 10 yards, half the distance of the goal. First down repeated.
So it'll come back.
So really, really tough on them. Again, we haven't seen much of their offense. They've been able to run the ball, but moving it half the distance back probably makes it close to 1st and 20. Maybe not quite. Can't quite see down the sideline. The fans are full. Looks like there's standing room only here, so we got some fans in our way. But definitely deep in their own end. First down, wanting to get on the move here.
See if they go to Heemstra again. First negative play of the game for the Celtics. They do go to Heemstra. This time the Knights are all over it.
Yeah, they early on in this one, they know where their focus needs to be from a defensive standpoint. They want to make sure they take care of him. He's a very dynamic running back. Obviously, we saw that on the first drive, and so that's it's good for them, but I don't think they're going to be able to lean on that too much here. They got the long distance here. Second, I guess according to the clock, they didn't get any yards on that one, so second, still a 20. Tight coverage on the corner here on the short side of the field. Maybe a shot opportunity there.
Yeah, just one safety over the middle. They'll fake the pitch. They are going deep into double coverage. What a catch in the snow by Madden Morin.
Well, and that's a great response. Deep in your own end, really standing on your goal line, throwing that. He's able to, little play action on the sweep, and you can see just throws it up. Big receiver going up between the 2 defenders. What great ball tracking skills he showed there. And of course, great security and using his hands to catch that one. Had to get full reach on that, but outstanding job and outstanding response from being pinned deep.
Big gainer, I believe that was 28. Looks like some movement on the snap, and the flags do come out. And usually if they blow the play dead, that'll mean it's against the offense.
Yeah, it seems like the right side of the offensive line moved a little bit early, and we'll see. Actually, they're pointing the other way. They're pointing both directions. So got to figure out who moved first. Looks like the side judge is trying to convince everybody else, like the defensive jumped first. And then we'll see here what the call is.
Procedure, offense, number 22. 5-yard penalty, first down repeated.
So 22, it's like a running back number. So it wasn't the offensive line. I wonder if somebody else maybe, let's take a look here.
Let's go, D!
Don't know.
One of those running backs
All right.
out of the backfield.
Is what it is. There you go. Yeah, maybe a little bit early.
2 backs again for Peepgrass, who's going to go to the air. Down the sideline, has a man. It's caught. The other Morin, Dylan Morin. Across midfield, another big play for the Celtics.
Well, clearly they've watched some film and they like their matchup down the field. And again, what a throw. I don't think we've seen a throw this morning, not for sure. They had a tough time with the snow coming down, but they are willing to just air this thing out with the matchup that they have on the outside. Again, one-on-one matchup on the corner. The Knights are going to need to do something to slow this down a little bit, this aerial attack and the arm strength that St. Joe's has and is able to execute on this cold day is looking good for them.
7 defenders in the box down the middle. That one is no, it did hit the ground. It was in the hands of Thomas Rowan. And his teammates were pleading their case for an interception. They're not going to get it. 2nd and 10.
He was trying to hit the quick seam route, so a little bit of play action in the backfield, hit the seam just off the left edge of the box. But again, the defense all over that one in the vicinity to make a play on the ball. So facing, after a couple big plays, which they've done well at, 2nd and 10 here on the 52.
Just one back in here, trips to the left. Peepgrass going to go to the air. Down the right side, it's tipped to the line. They were targeting Heemstra, who was running a drag route, and it'll be a 3rd and 10.
And again, they actually covered this really well, so I don't know if it would have been a ton of yards, but again, the linebacker there sees it coming early. He's actually going to make a play on the ball, and again, there to make contact. But again, great job defensive line, getting their hands up. If you can't get to the quarterback as a pass rusher, once you see that arm come up, get those hands in the air, and that one was able to be batted down. So here comes the punt unit for St. Joe's. So good job of St. Joe's getting some first down, some big chunk plays to get out of their own end. Now, of course, punting it back to the Knights. So the defense is going to have to find a way to get another stop here if they want to keep this one within reach right now.
That was Wyatt Koopman batting that one down. Punt is off clean. It's a high one. Lots of hang time, but it's not going very far. Goes off of a Knight.
The ball is
fumbled and recovered by the Celtics, we think. No official sign, but it does look to be Celtics football.
It is, and this is really interesting because of the high kick. And I want you to take a look at the gunner that's coming down the right side of the field. He actually sees that it's high, and he's going to get out of the way right there on the right side of the screen. No one was within that yards. He touches it, hits it clean here. But as he comes into contact, that ball gets punched out, and it's all white jerseys around to pick that one up. So what a turn of events here after a kick that wasn't going very far is back in the hands of St. Joe's, and they are back on offense.
So in the end, it works out as a gain of 4.
All that for 4 yards.
Dylan Morin on a touch pass down the left side across the 45. Just got leveled there by Avery Laliberti. Good gain, though. Picks up about 5.
You know, I really do love the response from St. Joe's after giving up, like, shocked in the first minute, down 14 before the game literally got started. And their response with the touchdown drive, you know, special teams chipping in, getting a big turnover, a forced turnover to get their offense back on the field to get back into this one with a nice drive in positive territory here.
Peepgrass stepping up in the pocket, running out of room. Colton Friesen gets his man.
Once again, he was looking downfield. You can see him set his feet in the pocket. Didn't quite find his receiver open because, again, that a lot of black jerseys in that secondary dropping deep to try to take that away. They were able to force him to pull it down and take off and run. And, of course, he didn't get very far with that defense of front 7 taking care of the interior runs. So back to the punting situation, but not all bad for them. Last time they punted, they had the ball back. So we'll see what they can do here.
Obviously not quite in field goal range. It would be just beyond 50 yards from here. So they are out to punt it away. A little bit better this time. It's going to bounce inside the 25, taken at the 20. This is Polzer. Polzer trying to find a seam down the outside, running the sideline and angles out of bounds. And a Celtics player goes crashing into one of the tents. Got to be careful on the sidelines here. They're a little tight. The heaters are right there, and it's not exactly the best footing out there today either.
Well, and the snow as well. The snow is kind of taking up more sideline space, so everything's a little bit further closer to this field. I'm actually surprised we didn't see a flag. Not only was it a little bit late, but it was right in the back. So you'll see here as this finishes off He's coming and goes right in the back and kind of pushes him out. The play was over. He's out of bounds, but a little bit late, and then, of course, he hits the tent. So, fortunately, it wasn't a hard surface he hit or nothing went flying around in there.
Lith under center. You already know who's in the backfield. It's Polzer. Stuck at the line.
Phoenix Fay there. Again, been in the play a few times here. Number 21 playing in the interior lineman there. A couple big bodies playing in there. And again, taking up space and obviously agile, making some plays, making that tackle there.
Second and 9. Polzer was playing fullback, and I think that fooled the Celtics defense. This is Ben Gutek. Big run, big gain, first down.
Well, finding different ways, and again, they come to the right and they find a seam. It wasn't really big, but again, he was able to sneak through the seam untouched and then breaking a tackle there to get an extra 10, 15 yards. So great running by the Knights offense as they continue to churn out yards on the ground.
Another give to Polzer. Polzer finds the seam. He's got one man to beat. The stiff arm. There is a flag thrown, but into the end zone. As it stands, it's a touchdown. We'll see if this one is a subdued celebration. It might tell you what you need to know here.
I think it may have been a horse collar on the tackle just before he got into the end zone. We'll see a little counter action there. Again, movement to the right of the offense and back to the left, so we'll see here. Got the back of the jersey, pulling him down. Interesting call that it was a touchdown because I don't think it actually was a touchdown. I think he was down about the 2-3 yard line where his knees hit and the ball was. So it'll be interesting to see what the call is.
As of now, the call on the field is touchdown. It would be 20-7. That would be 41 yards to the house for Polzer, who would be smashing over 100 yards already here in this first quarter, depending on where this ball goes.
That doesn't help us.
It's always a bit of an adventure here in Grand Prairie, trying to get people out of the way.
Unnecessary roughness. Offense number 3 on the 3 yard line. 15-yard penalty will be first down.
Oh, interesting. Must have been something just behind that took that away. We'll get the replay here.
Walked it back. Should be the 18-yard line here. Ref said it was at the 15-yard penalty.
I think the penalty may have happened way back where the pile was. So he was definitely down at like the 3-4 yard line, but then the penalty must have happened further back, but it was just later.
There is a flag on this run from Polzer, another good one, but this one is going to be coming back to the 28.
Holding, offense, number 6, 10-yard penalty, first down repeated. Holding.
Going to give us the call again just in case we missed it, but we're going to be moving that back. So again, not optimal for the Knights taking these penalties here on this drive. They of course haven't really been stopped much on offense. They've put up some points early here in this one as this clock is winding down in the first quarter. They are definitely in a position where they want to capitalize on this great field position with a major, but they'll be working 1st and 20 from the 27-yard line.
This time they'll go to the air. Haven't seen Lith throw it too much. Going to the end zone. Touchdown. Wide open was Ben Gutek. Knights strike again.
Well, and definitely some miscommunication in the secondary of St. Joe's. We'll get a look at it here. Just, again, wide open, delivers the ball on time into the right spot. But, again, there's miscommunication. Nobody in the secondary even close as he goes down the seam for the major. So a couple situations, moved them back. 1st and 20. They take one play through the air and put points back on the board.
Extra point is up and good. 21-7 is the lead for the Knights, who re-grabbed their 14-point lead.
And the St. Joe's is going to need to find a way to respond here. They actually had some momentum. They had a turnover off special teams, but really just couldn't capitalize on that with any types of points. And quickly the Knights offense, that is seeming to be a juggernaut of an offense here, responded so well after some adversity and taking penalties on that drive. It did not stop them. They got the major they were looking for to get up 21-7 here with 35 seconds left in the opening quarter.
It's been a crazy opening quarter.
And it's not done yet. You never know. 35 seconds. The first 35 seconds of this game, we had 2 touchdowns. So let's see how this goes.
Kick is off, and the ball's going to fall into the hands of Heemstra. Trying to find a seam down the right side, lowers the shoulder, still on his feet, driving forward for about another 10 yards. After that last contact, brings it out near the 50.
He needs the flex coming through there. He just took on that entire team, and was the last guy who seemed to get him to the ground. So you can see here on the return, just again using his feet, and you can see the cover guys are coming down, and they become a little hesitant because all of a sudden there's snow. And again, that's the that turns the advantage into the ball carrier there. He's able to set him up a little bit and get some extra running room. So again, a good response from special teams on St. Joe's. Let's see if they can get this offense on the move to get some more points to keep this one within shot.
They will put it at the 46. Another handoff down the right side, not any room. It was maybe only to the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of a couple for the Celtics, not much.
Jack Beergy, number 3, playing on the outside there, containing, making that tackle. Good job, good discipline on the edge. Again, you don't want to let guys get to the edge because it's a lot of running room out there if they do. So outstanding job there by Beergy, playing linebacker.
One last play in a first quarter that's featured at least 4 touchdowns. Celtics hoping for one more. They'll go to the air. Peepgrass flushed out of the pocket, finds some space, sliding at midfield.
He slid about a yard short.
Not going to be there. Yeah, but 1 yard short. That'll set up a 3rd down gamble when we come back.
And I've seen that way too many times in the last number of weeks in football games where, you know, you hook slide because you want to go down. But when you do hook slide, it's not where you land, it's where you start your slide. And so he started his slide before he made the yard to gain. And so it's going to leave him a yard short. I don't doubt the Celtics will leave their offense on the field to actually bring out some heavy guys. So they got 2 extra linemen. We got 2 linemen coming in.
We got a short break here at the end of the first quarter. Knights up 21-7 here in the Alberta Bowl.
Yeah, check the rhythm, feel the vibe, beats dropping hard, making heads collide, bass thumping loud, shaking up the street. Every step I take, moving to the beat, lightning fast, I'm breaking it down, feeling the pulse in every sound, never miss a step, always on the move. The beat's my partner, we groove as 1, 2. I close my eyes and let the music flow in this crazy world. It's the only thing I know.
We are back for the second quarter here at Lincoln Hansen Field up in the 4A Provincial Championship. Would like to take a moment to thank the Sport, Physical Activity and Recreation Branch of the Ministry of Tourism and Sport with the Government of Alberta, who's a funding provider to the ASAA. Pause that for a moment. Ball's on the ground and a third down gamble. And this play is still alive. Peepgrass is going to throw it. It's complete. A third down gamble that was going backwards. I'm going to have to redo an ad read right away. And then we will turn over the sticks for the Celtics. There's also a player who's slow to get up.
Well, the amazing part about this is the blocking in the trenches. It was like a war in the trenches, but nobody managed to go downfield. So often you have linemen going downfield, but no one made it downfield from a line standpoint, which allowed him to throw the ball. And so what a play. And it's interesting, was it going to be a play action where they had a receiver downfield, or was it going to be something else that allowed them to just get the first down through the run? So interesting to know that they could potentially have been throwing the ball there. But needless to say, execution, 1st and 10 in positive territory.
Another run play here for the Celtics. It's Heemstra out to the left. There was a flag earlier on in this play, so going back, Rob. The Sport, Physical Activity and Recreation branch of the Ministry of Tourism and Sport with the Government of Alberta is a funding provider to the ASAA. The funds received from this area of the government are put towards enhancing the quality of life for Albertans.
Holding, number 70, 10-yard penalty, first down repeated.
So a couple offensive holding calls against the Knights earlier, and this one's going against St. Joe's, putting them in a better, not as good of a first down situation. Obviously, 1st and 20 is not where they necessarily want to be. But again, still offense on the field, just outside the 45, looking about the 47-yard line. Down in distance, not in their favor, but they've got a couple plays, see if they can make this up. They've got that heavy set in the backfield still with the linemen, extra backs, extra blocking. We'll see what they do with it.
Yeah, 4 guys back there. They're going to pitch it over to Heemstra. Lots of blocking out there, trying to take it to the outside. He's just going to avoid the contact and angle it out at the 40.
Well, in managing your body, and the last time he took the run, he ended up off to the sideline, and you think nothing much of it, but he actually ended up running through the snow. And here's the killer when you run through the snow, is all of a sudden it's starting to get in your shoes. It gets in your socks. And this one, again, he's just very careful on the sideline. We talked about how close it is on the sideline with all the equipment and the tents and stuff they have over there. You got to be careful on that side. You don't want to injure anybody. I've seen very unfortunate situations near a bench where people are going into the bench and hurting themselves. So very careful in these conditions where it's not very secure on the ground with their footing.
Celtics took a timeout, so 10:46 to go here in the second quarter. I think at the beginning of this game when Polzer went 60 yards, touchdown, and then trouble on the kickoff return for the Celtics. 1 yard, Polzer, touchdown. I think a lot of people maybe watching started to think, hey, is this thing getting out of hand for the Celtics? They had already lost to this team 45-7 earlier on in this season. I mean, since that point, we're 7-7. That 1 minute is the whole difference in this game right now, Rob, but the Celtics are showing fight.
Yeah, they definitely are, and they've got a big job here with, they've got it 1st and 12, but I think it's
should be second and 12.
We'll see what they do here with their heavy set lineup here.
Yeah, back into that heavy formation. Dylan Morin lined up on the right side of that line as a receiver on the line of scrimmage. They will fake the handoff. Peepgrass has a man open, and a little too high for Morin, who couldn't quite deflect it to himself.
That's going to bring up 3rd down. Looks like that punt team's coming on, but they're also punting from the 40. So do they play field position and actually let this one get punted away, or they try pull a trick out of their bag of tricks that you practice all year and you wait for the finals to see if you can use them when you need them? So we'll see if they're prepared to do that, or they've got some dangerous returners back there as well. So I don't know if I'd really want to punt it away to one of these guys. And
Punt
to the sideline it goes.
Off the foot of Dylan Morin, and yeah, right to the sideline there, straight out of bounds. Not going to be a huge net difference here. They're already walking it up above the 20. Well, that will be at the 20, so exactly 20.
Yeah, you know, I still think that's a good decision with the dynamic returners that they have and then the conditions and all that. Just get it to the sideline. Again, we talk about positive yards. That's positive yards. Now the task goes over to the defensive side for St. Joe's. And, of course, the Knights with 10:27 left would like to put another drive of their own together to extend their lead.
You know, meanwhile, for as much as the Celtics have stuck around, they moved the ball really well on their first offensive drive, already being down 14. It's a couple straight stops now for this Holy Trinity Academy Knights defense. Both of them just outside field goal range. Declan Lith on the handoff. Polzer. Boy, that guy can accelerate like crazy. He is right by the sticks. They needed the 30. Doesn't take more than 2-3 strides to really get going. Take a look at this.
Well, he hits that hole so fast. Like, he just runs by the first tackler, and then it takes the second and third guy another 7 yards to take him down. So some outstanding running, some outside explosion in the hole, and you know, the offensive line is creating gaps for him to get through. And again, it's not always perfect, but they're definitely giving him enough space and enough push where he can expose this box play of the Celtics.
Lith under center again. They'll fake the handoff to Polzer, and I believe they've given it to Ben Gutek, who broke off a long run earlier. There's a Celtic on the play who's slow to get up as well. I think these conditions may be starting to play a part in this game.
So Polzer sometimes is going to be the guy carrying the rock, and sometimes he's just the candy that they're going to bait the defense with. And in that case, they play action to him, and then they have a counter play coming the other direction. So he becomes the candy that if everyone's going to take care of him, we're going to find some way else to beat you. And it's something actually I've had some conversations with some players, and one of our coaches this year was kind of made that reference. Like, sometimes if you're the star and you're being focused on, sometimes you just have to be the bait and the candy to draw them away, and then you open up opportunities. And it's kind of how we executed our game plan in our game the other day. Like, hey, if they're going to double team someone, find a way to expose another part of the defense, and they do that really well. And so the Knights are doing that fairly well here, with different running backs coming back against the grain when Polzer is drawing the defense to one side, because of course Polzer is doing a phenomenal job exposing the hole and getting lots and lots of yards already in this one when he has the opportunity.
I believe that is Joseph Okafo, who has yet to get up. Yeah, you talk about just the gravity of a player on offense sometimes, and I think about an offense, maybe let's go NFL with this one. Let's go Miami Dolphins. Actually, let's keep it Canadian. Let's go Brady Oliveira, right? You have a running back like that out with the Blue Bombers, and just the amount of attention that he draws makes things a little easier for a guy like Kenny Lawler, for a guy like Nick Dembski, and ultimately his quarterback Zach Collaros. I feel like that's similar to something we'll see here, and just those fake gives to Oliveira mean a little more when that's the talent you have in the backfield.
Well, you keep the 7 guys in the box because the run is such a threat in this offense. And so if they can continue to do that, they are going to have the one-on-one matchups. You're not going to be able to drop your linebackers out in zone nearly as much, or they're not going to get the depth they need to cover some of those spaces in the middle of the field. So again, a good running game. I mean, they clearly use the running game to set up everything else in their offense. And why wouldn't you when you have an outstanding back like him standing back there next to your quarterback all day long?
So we'll resume play with a 2nd and 5 for the Knights at their own 36.
Well, this is a prime example. You got DBs out covering man-to-man. You're going to double team the boundary receiver with one guy jamming at the line of scrimmage, another guy off. The safety's at about 10 yards. Again, taking care of this box.
Another give here to Polzer. Polzer makes one miss, and diving forward, he's going to have a first down. Pick up of 10.
Well, by double teaming the receiver on the boundary, which obviously is someone who can make plays, they may not throw you the ball because you're being double teamed, but guess what? It just draws one more guy outside of the box. And what do you do when you take someone out of the box? If you got a light box, you're going to run the ball. That's exactly what the Knights are doing here.
Couple backs into the game. This time, looks like it could be Stewart as the lead blocker as they give it to Polzer up the middle again. Little less on this one, but it feels like even the losses for Polzer and this Knights offensive line, they're still getting 5 or 6.
Oh, yeah, like That's a less than positive play, but it's still positive yardage. They, if anything, less than 10 yards for them right now on offense seems to be not what they're wanting. But again, still positive plays. And you know, if they can run this, if they can just continue to run the ball, I mean, even if they only get 2 or 3 yards, they're very dynamic, and they're going to bust another one here.
Another give to Polzer on 2nd and 5. Gets just across midfield. Looks like he's short of the yard to gain. It'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, it looks like they're bringing in a couple jumbo guys. So a couple receivers go out, 81 and 82 off to the sideline, bringing in some heavier tight end type of bodies, committing to the run here, or maybe a little play action, take a shot deep. But with this run game, in control of this game 21-7, I would just get a 1st down and continue this drive.
No surprise who it goes to here. Polzer, 1st down and more, stepping across the 40 and taken out of bounds once again.
Well, again, what a load he is. Not only is he fast, but he is strong. He's low center of gravity when he runs. He's just a dynamic. He's got that great combination of speed, strength, and just a difficult back for this defense it takes to get down.
New set of sticks at the 39. Polzer cuts in. Another 1st down for Polzer. Down to the Celtics 25. I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over and over again. And, you know, why wouldn't the Knights keep going back to it?
Polzer for another 1st down. Polzer for another 1st down. And he's just, he set a record for generating 1st downs in this game. He is just churning out the yards. And again, all the runs finishing going forward. He's a hard man to bring down.
Another heavy formation here. 3 blockers out to the Polzer's left. Throws a stiff arm inside the 15. Keeps driving. And he's taken down at about the 10. Be 1st and goal, maybe 1st and 10, depending on exactly where they spot it.
Well, I'd love to have a calculation of yards after contact. So, you know, contact's made there. You know, wrapped up there by a different guy. That's 5 full yards after contact, and it took 3 guys to get him finally to the ground. So we'll see.
It is a 1st and goal. Polzer driving forward, lowering the shoulder inside the 5, and it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Celtics to stop his progress at the 5.
So the last run, they marked right at the 10, so they cannot get a 1st down before the end zone. Again, with this type of run game and this type of momentum, I could imagine they're playing 3-down football to get the major here and not wanting to settle for a field goal, but you never know. Holding him to 5 yards on a carry is going to be a task.
Polzer takes the handoff. It's going to be close. No sign yet.
Did the ball come out before he got in the end zone? Because
Celtics think they have it.
St. Joe, the ball did come out. It's just a matter of was he down? And of course, the officials are getting together to have a conversation.
I might have. I thought I seen a flag on the field as well.
We're going to get the replay here.
Let's see, pretty much right down the line.
The ball is out before the goal line, and St. Joe's looks like they had a clear recovery.
During the play, we had an inadvertent whistle. We will replay that down. 2nd down.
Oh, that is a huge break for the Knights.
Inadvertent whistle. He was shivering and blew the whistle.
That's really unfortunate. Again, we have the advantage of the replay here. The ball was out before he crossed the goal line. It was recovered by St. Joe's, but the whistle blows it dead. So very unfortunate for St. Joe's, and they'll probably never know until they see this broadcast after the fact that unfortunately for them, that inadvertent whistle cost them the turnover that they had generated there. So again, big task for the defense here. 2nd and goal from the 5 against this dynamic running attack by the Knights. And 2nd and 5, we do it again from the 5.
Feels like the way they're running the football, that might have directly cost them 6. Throw into the flats. It's caught into the end zone. Touchdown, Ben Hayden.
So again, using the run game to set up the pass, some play action, again finds him wide open in the flat. You can see here that threat of run is so strong, they thought they had the run taken care of, but of course, little play action, dump over the top, and the touchdown is there. So big call, or big inadvertent whistle, I guess, that's gonna put this one up a little bit more for the Knights, and the St. Joe's, the hole to climb out of is just a little bit deeper right now.
Hayden listed as a D lineman, O lineman on my roster. Kick is up and good on the extra point. That was off the foot of Ryan Jerzinski. Took a bit of a spill there after as well. Footing not perfect, but still able to drive it through. You see why Ben Hayden likes to dish out punishment. Good finish to that play.
So 5:18 left here in the second quarter. And St. Joe's, lots of time on the clock for them to respond. And if they want to stay in this one as the second half gets going here in a little bit, they want to get a score here before the half. So lots of time left. But the Knights, with that major in control, up 28-7. Another
so we'll see if the Celtics can somehow fight back. It's going to be taken to the 25, and yeah, that still slippery conditions out there. Dylan Moore electing to just fall on it.
Well, again, just skipping a little differently, staying low to the ground, hard to pick up, and again, you don't want to have a disaster. Again, kind of knocked it forward. He's like, yes, just jump on this. But it does make for a long field, and if the Knights can come up with a stop here, going to get this ball back in very good field position with plenty of time. But of course, St. Joe's task, it remains. They need to get some points on the board to keep up with this high-powered offense the Knights brought to town today.
Just over 5 minutes to go. Feels like the Celtics, Rob, really need a score here to bring it within 2 possessions before this half closes. Another heavy package here as they give it to Heemstra. Just tough, gritty Canadian football across the 30. Good pickup on first down here. I believe we're going to set up a 2nd and 3.
Yeah, it's good first down yards. That's, of course, what you want. You want to stay ahead of the sticks, and 2nd and 2 or 3 is a great second down distance, so we'll see if they can continue to execute, again, the run game. And they have no problem throwing it either, so, you know, a little play action getting the shot, because a major is really what they want here, but again, turning the ball over is not something they can afford to do here. They need to get some points out of this drive.
Another run, Celtics. Heemstra in the backfield, taken down at the 30. It's Thomas Rowan making another play for this Knights defense.
You can see here how as he got going again, he had to actually belly back because of the defensive play. They stretched this to the edge, and again, it forces him to stop and start his feet again. Again, not quite enough speed to get to the edge, and what an outstanding tackle on the edge of that one to force this punting situation. So worst case scenario, quick 3 and out for St. Joe's, giving it back to the Knights here. So again, now they're punting from their own end here, almost guaranteed good field position. As long as they field this one well, the Knights are looking in good shape after that stop.
So Rowan gets the stop for the Knights defense. That was nearly blocked by Koopman. Taken at the 50 by the Knights. So the stop made by Thomas Rowan, committed to the University of Saskatchewan, has been a safety in the past. Great pursuit that player has coming out of that safety position, now playing linebacker.
Yeah, and good job of stretching to get this kick and getting it off before they get in his face. And again, fielding it, not quite clean, a little slip through there, but he was able to get it before anybody else was around. The flag, we'll see what that is here. We're getting the call right away.
During the play, we have no yards, number 8. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That'll give the Knights even better field position here. It's been a great game for the O-line so far. You look at them when they're kind of standing up. They just got such a big size advantage on that Celtics D-line. You know, we've talked a lot about Seth Polzer so far, but that O-line has been giving him some big holes as well. Another run here for Polzer. And he's going to keep driving forward across the 45. And so I'm looking at left tackle Gavin Spears on that play, and he had his man about 3-4 yards downfield, and that allows Polzer just to hit that hole so hard.
Well, they're getting the second level. They actually leave one of the linebackers, and Polzer just beats him in the hole and doesn't let him tackle him. But yeah, they're getting guys to the linebackers, and they're striking quickly through those gaps.
Polzer again, that time not looking for much, just lowering his center of gravity, making sure he gets through and picks up the first down. There is another Celtic down on the play.
You know, that's just outstanding awareness of the down and distance and where we are in the quarter. Again, with 3 minutes left, they've got lots of time. They can get a couple plays in here, and they can get in for the major. And so, again, just securing the first down. We talked about awareness of these young football players as their football IQ continues to grow, understanding down, distance, what's most important. Okay, in that case, 2nd and 3, let's get the first down. So he didn't try to extend it. He didn't try to bounce it outside. He said, hey, I'm getting 3 yards. We're going to get another first down, and we're going to get a crack at this. We can work some time off the clock, and again, they can great position to get some points on the board. St. Joe's just, again, not finding a way to stop this defense. And unfortunately, on the last drive, an inadvertent whistle caused the turnover not to happen for them, which would have been momentum changer. But now they're down 21 in this one with 3 minutes left, and the Knights are on the move.
There's Phoenix Fay down on the play. So watch the left tackle here, 68, Gavin Spears. If they run this ball, just check out the blocking. I have not seen anything get through that guy at left tackle in this game. Run game like this, we'll have to show some appreciation to the O-linemen, and they are absolutely dominating as they line up at the 39. He'll be at the bottom of that 5-man line. Another run for Polzer. Huge hole on the outside. Trucks a man as he's going out of bounds. Another big run for Seth Polzer.
Well, a big run and a statement finish. You can see here, he's just off the edge. Again, the speed to the edge, he's just outrunning guys, just cannot catch him. And then, you know, the finish here is outstanding. I mean, DBs don't like to tackle any running back, let alone someone like Polzer. He just kind of runs through and just keeps going. That's one heck of a back in the backfield that just is in absolute control of this game. And, of course, in front of any good back is a line. And that O-line is doing their job today.
Polzer, touchdown, 20 yards. And it is a huge game for Polzer, huge game for the O-line.
Well, if you watch this
Knights
replay,
are dominating.
This is just demoralizing. Missed tackle there, and then there's no one left. The offensive line 5-6 yards downfield. Polzer basically breaking 2 tackles on his way to the end zone. And you can just tell the body language of St. Joe's. They are demoralized, just not having an answer for this run game of the Knights.
Talking about Spears. Plays rugby as well, 3-sport athlete at Holy Trinity. He's committed to the University of Guelph. It is 35-7 now for the Knights.
Yeah, lots of excitement on the side of the men wearing the black uniforms. The Knights in control here. Almost to the score. They beat them last time, but it's been a half. And that's that statement. Obviously, the 2 quick scores early in this one, but they just continue to dominate the line of scrimmage on offense. And their running back is taking advantage of that, exposing this this defense to their run game.
.237 left to go in the half. Celtics need to make sure they get to this one. They do. It's a return here for Heemstra. Out across the 45.
Well, they have time to get something going, but they definitely need to get something going because it doesn't take the Knights long to score. And you're going to try to keep pace with this shootout. You better get some points on the board here. We said that last drive, and they unfortunately had a 3-and-out, had to punt the ball away, gave them a short field. So a little better field position after the little bit of return there, but they definitely need to get this ball down the field.
Celtics looking for the big play here, not going to get it. Tackle made by Jack Biorgi.
Can see the blocks out in front, and again, they're getting there, but the speed of this defense, they just continue to close those holes way too fast for the St. Joe's players to get through. So again, this defense doing its job. I mean, they gave up the one score on the big play early, but they've really done an amazing job shutting this offense down since then.
It'll be a pass here for Peepgrass, getting hit as he threw, and that one's going to fall incomplete. And now Peepgrass is slow to get up.
Seems like it seems like he's holding something around like his neck. Maybe he got hit in the neck as they were kind of letting that one go.
See,
kind of fell back, so I wonder if as he went over, his arm caught his chin or caught him under the chin there. That's
looked like Hayden was finishing the hit there. It's, you know, I think 10, 15 years ago, there would be no argument for a roughing the passer there. I think nowadays you start to see that called maybe a little more. I don't think there was anything dirty per se by Hayden there at all. But as you said, Peepgrass was kind of ducking out of the way, and then as Hayden was launching, you know, towards his torso, and ended up hitting him a little higher, and Peepgrass was slow to get up. Like you said, I'm not sure if it's a neck thing, but he was kind of up around holding the shoulders, the collarbones.
Well, he definitely, I mean, he looks like he's walking off under his own energy there. But again, as he rolls out, you can see here he's falling back and he's throwing this late. So he kind of goes over top of him. It looks like the arm. Yeah, the arm looked like it just got wrapped around the neck. And again, that's just, he's going down. He's throwing the ball late. Someone's finishing a play. Again, no intent. But as he's going to the ground, he's just kind of going over top from there. So back into a punting situation. 1:43 left. That's time enough for these Knights. There's a beauty of a punt.
Off the foot of Dylan Morin. Returned outside the 30.
Poser, again.
As always.
I would be kicking away from that guy any chance I had. I know it's not always, you don't always have the chance to do that, so.
There's a flag on the play as well. Sitting at the
on the return team there, number 19.
During the return, holding number 19, 10-yard penalty will be first down.
Yeah, camera guys caught the holding there. It'll be a little bit longer field for the Knights. 1:28 left, and of course they would just love to keep running this ball in full control with that run game. Plenty of time left. An interesting thing at play here that we saw in the first game, which I was fortunate to be a witness of, is there's a mercy rule in football in high school at 35 points. So one more touchdown would get it to 35 points, which means it becomes run time after that 35-point spread is reached. So that could potentially happen here. I mean, it's not necessarily going to happen, but it definitely could. We're within striking distance. The Knights are often on the move, but in that case there, the St. Joe's, you can see they stood up to the test of that run game again and got themselves a stop.
Taken by the Knights after a gain of just a couple. It's a long day here. I was surprised.
Definitely has not slowed the Knights down, but they're facing a 2nd and 8 here on their own 22.
They'll fake the handoff this time down the left side. Oh, nice play by the defensive back, Thomas Lee, knocking that one away. Not a bad throw there by Lith at all, but Lee with the perfect coverage.
Well, it was textbook coverage. You can see there he's got his eyes inside. He's looking at him. He's like on the run. Stay on his hip, stay on his hip. And again, last second hand comes up. So again, he's not grabbing. He's not holding on. He did a good job of locating the ball early, and that allowed him to make a very clean play and the knockdown. So again, what was an opportunity for the Knights to extend their lead turns to a St. Joe's stop, which is good. That's getting a little bit of help for them emotionally, just to know, hey, we can stop these guys if we need to. We'll see if they can do anything with the last minute here after this punt.
Here we go. To the house, Luke, to the house.
Punt is off, angled right towards that Celtics bench. It'll take a bounce around the 45.
That was the kicker coming in. Again, he knew it was short, but I think there was a penalty. And again, it was 3rd and 8, so an offside penalty would be 5 yards. That makes it 3rd and 3. So they're going to have to make a decision here. And again, it may be based on who actually recovered this ball. So you can see him flying in here from the right-hand side. And does he get it before it goes out of bounds? It does not look like he actually touched it. So I don't think he touched it. So they may choose to take the 5-yard penalty and re-kick this.
Offside, defense, number 45, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down repeated.
I mean, I know we're deep in our own territory. If you really wanted to extend your lead, how much do you believe in your run game here, too? Now it's just 3rd and 3. I don't think they're going to do it, but it's a possibility.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a possibility. I still think, I mean, they're not punting the ball super well, but now the question is, I don't know who was on the field. Is this the punt team? It looks like maybe the punt team is coming back on the field, or they're bringing a heavy set on.
Yeah, I do think I see a 33 that would be Polzer.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's a trick play.
We're just under a minute to go.
And now you line up and you snap it on 2 as well.
And they're going for it. Polzer in the backfield.
Did he get enough?
Not gonna lie, I have no clue where that football went. I think I was looking at the wrong guy.
I think he got more than 3. Not a whole lot more, but he got more than 3, and I think that's a 1st down. So the quick change, and I wonder if St. Joe's actually got their defense on there to try to defend that. But again, you see him coming through. Again, tries to stay off. You see the hand going down to try to keep him off the ground a little bit longer to get that extra yard. And here he goes again, off to the races.
Has broken free. There is a flag as he's taken down around midfield, and this one could be coming back. Haven't gotten any indication yet. It's funny, you expect a team under a minute, their own territory, maybe to start going to the air for the big play, but I don't think they need to right now.
That's their big play guy. They just keep handing the ball off to him. They don't need to go to the air to get a big play. They can just use that run game and just churning out yards.
On the defense, that's a 10-yard penalty, and good 1st down.
Penalty-aided drive, I guess. Yeah, it's too many guys on the field. Need to make sure they clean that one up. But again, too many guys, and they still can't stop Polzer. Playing with 13.
Believe the penalty should be declined here. They still have the ball at the 53. The gain was greater than 10, so there could be a running clock on this, but
yeah, I see the officials. Yeah, they are going to wind the clock here.
So
they did say he was tackled in bounds because they took the run, which was greater.
This time they're going to throw. It is off the fingertips of Ben Gutek. 16 seconds left. Maybe time for 3 if they're really quick. 4 more plays. They do have 2 timeouts.
I think that was number 28, Cedric Ouellette, in coverage. Again, another great job just defending. The timing of his interaction with the receiver was perfect on that. If you come too early and you have any hands on him or you're swiping at the arm too early, it's going to be pass interference. But he timed that up absolutely perfectly and made a play on the ball. Again, using his body on body, just kind of earned some of that positioning there on the ball, but great job.
Another handoff here. Polzer. Some room. Hits the hole. He's down inside the 20 with 7.1 to go.
Well, if you can't get it through the air on a big play, why not just hand it back to your running back? And away they go off to the races. Big play Polzer continues to just chew up this defense in the snow in conditions that are not ideal for anybody. He just seems to have his way on this turf. Again, strong runner, fast runner, is just beating everybody to the spot.
So funny here with, the ball on the 16-yard line, 7.1 seconds left. In any other game, any other scenario, this is where you would be going to the air, taking your one shot to the end zone. Once again, do you think your odds are better on a 16-yard throw or a 16-yard run from Polzer?
Well, yeah, and which one takes longer? I mean, Polzer hits that hole pretty fast. He gets there. The challenge is if you run it and you don't get the yards, the clock would be on a wind. So, again, they'd have to use a timeout to stop it. If they do throw it and it stops, like, again, 7.1 seconds.
Yeah, probably only time for one more play.
You got to get the ball out pretty quick to get 2 plays in. Otherwise, it's just going to be the one. So they could take a shot at the end zone, which we've got some athletes out there that definitely can make a difference. But, of course, when you have Polzer in the backfield, you don't need to make a lot of decisions what you're going to do with the ball.
Yeah, and maybe they got 2 cracks at it here. Maybe they don't kick the field goal. They are going to go to the air. They will screen it to Gutek. It is a double pass, and he's just going to tuck it and run. So that's something the Knights have probably had installed all year. There's 0.3
so they got one more
left
play
on the clock, so that one barely stopped in time.
Well, they actually have the touchdown here. If he throws it, they got a receiver in behind coverage. You can see them there at the back of the end zone, pretty much wide open. You mean white one St. Joe's jersey in the area. But again, here it is. Look like they're lining up for a field goal. Got to make it 38 here and not only get some points, but continue to build on the momentum they've had so far here in this one. Just give their field goal kicker and that operation a chance to get some points on the board.
Czerzinski out to attempt a 23-yard field goal as the clock's going to hit zeros. Kick is up and wide, no good. So a chance here for the Celtics to return it. So they'll keep that Rouge off the board, and the Celtics are going the other way. Czerzinski misses. Koopman tackled across the 50. There was only one guy back. Marzoff. I believe it was him that made the tackle. Otherwise, apologies, as Luke Lemire was gone.
So you can see there, doesn't quite get it inside the uprights. And again, shifty field, a shifty back returner. Again, just didn't quite have the speed, was out in front, and again, just diving. Great effort to not let that be any worse for the Knights. But again, as we go into the half here, the Knights in full control. Polzer, you can see walking in here close to us, just in front with his coach, having a conversation about, hey, that's a half of football. They got another half yet to play. But things are looking good here for the Knights after the first half comes to a close.
Those guys are going to be happy, headed back into the locker room. The crowd above them, you see the flag waving. They're happy. It is 35-7 for the Knights heading into halftime.
check the rhythm, feel the vibe. Beats dropping hard, making heads collide. Bass thumping loud, shaking up the street. Every step I take, moving to the beat. Lightning fast, I'm breaking it down. Feeling the pulse in every sound. Never miss a step, always on the move. The beat's my partner, we groove as 1, 2. I close my eyes and let the music flow. In this crazy world, it's the only thing I know. The rhythm.
We are back at Lincoln Hansen Field. 4A Provincials, St. Joseph Celtics, and the Holy Trinity Academy Knights, who are up 35-7. Connor Toffin here with Rob Herod. I don't think I need to say much about that first half besides this. 347 yards of rushing in that first half for the Knights. It's all Seth Polzer. It's all their offensive line blocking downfield, making those big holes, and they are running away with this one right now. They're one touchdown away from runtime.
Yeah, and you know, you've just got a high-octane running game here. And we know they can throw the ball. They have a quarterback that can stand there and sling the ball around, but why, when you can run the ball in chunk plays securely and you're getting 347 yards of running? Are you kidding me? Yeah, a couple backs contributing to that, but not almost all Polzer. I'd love to see his individual numbers. I'm sure he's well over 200 yards, probably 250 to 3, somewhere in that range.
Got to be over that 300 or close.
You know, when you have a back that, you know, they claim that he may be the best back ever to come through this program, and they've had some studs there. This is something special we're watching here, and we don't always love to see an absolute blowout in a final, but to see the talent on display and his ability just, series after series to run the ball with authority, with explosion, speed through there. And then, you know, hats off to the offensive line. I mean, they are creating holes that are massive. And from the depth chart I have, we got Spears, Dundas, Hunter, Callahan, and Paulgard, along with, I'm sure, a few other guys who have gotten in this one, are creating holes for the dynamic running back. And here we go as St. Joe's starts with the return to about the 25 by the looks of things. That's where they're going to start things off. So if there's something positive, they've got the ball on offense. Now they've got to do something with it here in the second half.
St. Joe's offense has shown flashes, the Celtics have, but just, you know, one full drive they were able to string together at the beginning. Well, kind of what you said earlier, barely even a drive. It was one play, I believe it was 51 yards into the end zone. And since then, this Knights defense has done a really good job shutting down Heemstrup. And just not much going for the Celtics since that drive one.
Starting off on the ground, you can see them off to the left-hand side, but this defense fired up. You know, again, as a coach, you know, it's a game that's well in control, but again, you want to get them fired up. Like this first few minutes of the third quarter is always an important piece to say, hey, we need to set the tone one more time. We got another half of football to play, and this is a big one for St. Joe's to see if they can scrounge anything together, get some points on the board, get some momentum with the drive to who knows what you can mount up here. And now it looks like they're taking a shot, and they get the coverage deep. They come underneath with the under, and off to the sideline he goes. Again, first down territory.
The first down for the Celtics. Also looks like there's been a switch at quarterback for the Celtics in this game. And now is Brendan McFall, grade 11.
I think he actually came up slightly short, so he's about a yard short. So he just marked him about a half yard to a yard short. So they're going to, I mean, lots of big plays in this game. There's a big third down here. You don't want to give the ball up here. But, of course, you definitely want to go for it. You don't want to punt it away either. So see if they can pick up the yard to continue this drive.
Third and a short yard. Heemstra in the backfield. Celtics need it. It'll be a quarterback run here for Morin, and he's taken down to the 45, but he's got a first down.
Yeah, I think he definitely. The early sign is they've got the first down. Again, only needed a yard and got a couple. So first down is good. And getting a bunch of bodies out there on the edge trying to get that. There's a long way to run to get the 2 yards, but he got it. It's going to keep their offense on the field a little bit longer.
I had that scoreboard wrong. It was actually the 35 that he went across. There's another guy in front of our window here, but he's dancing, and I don't really want to tell him to sit down. Looks like he's having a good time.
He is having a good time. He's a Knights parent by the looks of things.
Here's Heemstra running down the left side across the 35. met by a couple of Knights on the spot. Do want to thank the Sport, Physical Activity and Recreation branch of the Ministry of Tourism and Sport with the Government of Alberta, who's a funding provider to the ASAA. The funds received from this area of the government are put towards enhancing the quality of life for Albertans. There is a player down on the field here. Looks like it is a Holy Trinity Knight. So while we got a bit of a break here, Rob, we got a lot of good football this weekend. We got a really good matchup coming between Harry Ainley and Raymond. Two teams that started off this year playing a really tight exhibition game out at Footfield. Ainley took that one, obviously an exhibition, so you don't want to read into it too much. Once this game's all wrapped up, that game will kick off about an hour after, in all likelihood. What do we expect to see in that one?
I think you've got a team coming from Raymond that obviously lots of big name CFL and U Sport guys coming out of Raymond. They a little factory. We've called it just a little football factory down there in Raymond. They do a great job just with their program. Just kids grow up in Raymond, building, wanting to play for the Comets, of course, and they've got the minor division Comets as well. But they're a little bit more of a dynamic offense, a dynamic scheme type of system on offense, and so they do run the ball. They run it in maybe less traditional, creative ways, and so I think we're going to see that. I had a chance to touch base with some of the Harry Ainley coaches, and they kind of have a good idea of what they can expect from them. My one concern with that type of approach is sometimes you go laterally a little bit more with creative run options, and in these conditions, is that going to hinder their ability to do what they want? And then, of course, you've got the Titans coming out of Edmonton, I think #1 ranked high school team in the country and in the province, obviously. And again, they are just so deep. So I am a little... I do wonder if the Harry Ainley Titans, and because of their depth and their athleticism, can wear down Raymond and Raymond's flash and dash offense, which I love watching and is so creative and so brilliant. Is that going to be effective in the conditions that they're faced with here today? So very excited about the matchup, and Raymond's going to have to, I think, if I were to favor someone, it would definitely be Harry Ainley. And then they have the opportunity to physically dominate the Comets, but don't kid yourself. The Comets are a great team, have been a great team for a very, very long time, and they will be well prepared for something here in the snow because they are very used to playing in these championship games in cold, snowy November days.
Player down was Nathan Barkley. And this Celtics offense going to get another crack at it here on 2nd and 9. Here's McFall. Deep throw. It is picked off. Jack Bjorgi across the 20. He's trying to take it to the house. Bjorgi inside the 5.
Touchdown. I saw. His hands went up and then they went down. I think they marked him down. It's close.
All we see is the dads in front of us going touchdown, touchdown.
Well, I saw the officials. I think his hands went half up
for a moment.
And then it was like, oh, no, he's down before. We'll get a look here.
After the interception, illegal block number 8 black.
Doesn't matter.
Will be the first down.
So it would have been a 50-yard pick 6 for Bjorgi, but this one will be coming back to
will be a pick.
25. Yeah, will be a pick still. So now the Knights looking to make it a 34-point lead plus an extra point. They're on the 24. Poles are still in the game in at running back. And this time they'll go the other way. It was given to Lincoln Stewart down near the 15.
Kind of still working that counter with a different guy. He pulls her off to the left. The defense, you can see the defense. There's about 2-3 guys out there waiting for Pulser, and they just come counter back the other way, and just man on man on that back side there. They're able to create some space because so much attention is on Pulser, and why wouldn't you try to stop Pulser? In a game like this, as a defensive coordinator, you gotta, if you don't let the obvious beat you. And if you gotta focus on Polzer, focus on Polzer. If somebody else is gonna beat you, somebody else is gonna beat you. But Polzer, you gotta try to limit the gains. You can't stop them. You can try to limit that. That's a tall order for any defense.
Looks like we've got some snow come down again here. They are going to go to the air, to the end zone, and it falls incomplete. That'll bring up a 3rd and 2.
You had the seam by the inside receiver on the left side. You can see there. The second receiver, the middle of the 3, just down the seam. Again, a little bit thrown behind him, not able to adjust. Again, a little slippery out there, so adjustment can sometimes be difficult, and he was not able to get back to that one.
3rd and 2. Give to Polzer, has a hole across the 10, lowers the shoulder, he stays on his feet into the end zone. Touchdown, Polzer and the Knights.
Yeah, why not give it to Polzer? He's the man of the hour, he's the man of the day for the Knights. Again, the offensive line obviously contributing a ton to that work, creating the holes. He's just patiently waiting to explode through the holes. Again, sees the hole, and he's through it so fast. There's not much chance of this defense of slowing him down.
Extra point does matter here for the Knights. A 35-point lead would mean run time. If Trzynski can put it through, it is up and good.
Well, there we have it. Another score for the Knights and another rushing touchdown for Polzer. As I said, he's getting it done today. You know, when the lights are the brightest and everything is on the line in a provincial championship, you expect your stars to rise to the occasion. And Polzer is doing exactly that. Again, a graduating player. He said he's committed to the U of A. We've got some other scouts from the universities and junior programs here. I'm sure they're seeing the same thing we are. Where is this back going? Can we draw him away from the U of A? Of course, U of A without a head coach right now, as the former head coach moved on to work with the Elks. But they will be finding that new coach and hoping Polzer will be part of that package deal at the U of A.
Ball is off the hands of Heemstra, is able to pick it up, makes one man miss, and had some open space, but is dragged down at the 35 by Jackson Hand. Seen Jackson Hand help Heemstra up there a little bit. It's always been good to see this weekend, just that good sportsmanship, you know, even in a blowout game. Looks like we might have a flag here, and this return is going to come back, but always good to see just the sportsmanship in a game like this. We've seen one little incident this weekend.
Holding, number 17, 10-yard penalty. First up.
With a punch thrown, and, you know, obviously there's going to be, you have 5 games of high school kids. I think you're going to have, you know, one kid make one bad decision, and you don't want to put too much spotlight on it because we've seen tens, if not hundreds, of good sportsmanship plays here as well.
Yeah, and that's what they preach. I mean, high school sports is about more than sport. It's about, you know, developing young men and women and determination and courage and all those things you want to learn through the sport, especially the sport of football. Lots of things can be learned through school sports. So St. Joe's trying to get it started on the ground here. Not much breathing room for the running back.
Got another player down on the field here. Looks like it is another Knight. It's been a good weekend here so far, Rob. Obviously, you winning the 6-a-side provincial championship yesterday. Saw a 9-a-side game that went into overtime, double overtime.
Yeah.
And if you missed it, there was a walk-off rouge. The ball was at the 8. They elected, Peace River did, to punt it through the end zone. And so the Pioneers won by 1 point in overtime. And then this morning, Holy Rosary taking down Cochrane handily.
Yeah,
this is our 4th game of the weekend.
4th game with 1 left. That one will be a good one as well. Again, all good football being played on good football on display. I mean, the best teams are winning these games by the looks of it, and that's how it should be at this time of year. But some great quality football and quality football players, of course, here at the Alberta Bowl.
Quick flip for the Celtics. Looks like that's Cohen Boucher trying to get to the edge, and he'll be taken down deep in his own territory.
The defense really stretched that out to the far side of the field, and just no running room out there. Again, he continued to bounce, and just eventually ran out of real estate there. So looks like they're going to be having to punt this one away here as that clock continues to run here in the third quarter. So now that the spread, as we mentioned, is 35, the clock will not stop other than timeouts and injuries. So this clock is going to move quickly and quicker than you think. You know, football, with all the stoppage and starts, it takes quite a bit of time to get through a 12-minute quarter. But when that time is running, it seems like it goes so fast for the players and coaches.
It's actually number 6, Cohen Matheson on that one. Snap a bit high. Dylan Morin handles it, and it will be angled near out of bounds, but it is picked up by the Knights. Malik Robbins getting a touch before he steps out of bounds.
Definitely angling it to the sidelines is a good idea. You know, you're not getting a ton of distance there. I do wonder, you know, at this point in time, do you just give up the safety and at least make it a long field for them?
Yeah, ball's looks like it's being placed at the 21.
Yeah, he was kind of standing almost right on his goal line. So yeah, net yards is not very many there. And the Knights offense ready to operate here. Already on the 21, going in. Short field for them.
Lith, quick handoff. It'll be a wide receiver pass and a touchdown. Gutek to McCullough.
Beautifully executed play. And again, you know, you run these kind of plays all year. You kind of want to use them at some point in time. And you think, well, why now in the game? I'm like, well, there is no other chance to use these. So a little bit of sweep, and that's just a simple, hey, this run game is doing an outstanding job of setting up opportunities downfield. That's exactly what happened there. The little play action in the backfield draws them up. And the wide open receiver there just kind of dancing himself into the end zone around the one defender. And you could tell just the way the defender came in, just disappointed in the showing of the Celtics. They were just... The Knights turned out to be just too much on this night here in Grand Prairie as the temperature drops. Not necessarily in here. It's feeling good in here, but I know outside at this time of day yesterday, temperature started to drop, a little less sunlight around the field. The lights are on, of course, for the big Saturday night showdown between the Comets and the Titans is coming up next after this one. Again, third quarter, 4:07. Scoring so quickly, that's the only time it does stop the clock. So they'll get that clock going here after the kick, and it'll continue to run. But we've definitely got some time left in this one, and we'll continue to enjoy some very well-executed football on behalf of the Knights. And don't kid yourself, those St. Joe's Celtics didn't travel very far to get here, but they put in a lot of work from August till now to be ready for this game. Unfortunately, it just hasn't gone their way here today, but they will continue to play, continue to push and challenge. They're going to do their best right to the end. That's what you expect from these players, regardless of whether you're up or down in a game like this.
Kickoff taken by the Celtics at their own 20. Lots of speed here, trying to bounce it out wide, and a good return will give the Celtics offense decent starting field position.
And linebacker Thomas Rowan, who will stay on the field for their defense, made the special teams tackle there as he tracked him across the field to the wide side. You can see he broke a tackle there, but wasn't able to break Rowan's tackle as he took him down there on the return. But decent field position there. What about the 37-yard line? St. Joe's goes back to work on offense.
Back in 2018, St. Joe's gonna throw. It is caught by Dylan Morin trying to turn it upfield. It's a little bit of revenge in this game for the Knights as well. Back in 2018, they lost to the St. Joe's team in the provincial finals. They won in 2019, won in 2022. Holy Trinity did. Their 6th time in the provincial finals today. They are ranked as the #1 small high school team in Canada by CanadaFootballChat.com.
Yeah, no, I've been watching some of those rankings, and it's nice to see. And you get recognition on the big stage, and just simply that ranking garners attention from the universities and junior programs around to say, hey, what are these Knights about? And you can see here today, obviously, there's a run game that's pretty amazing. Couldn't quite squeeze that one as it came down into his hands. Just a straight drop as he saw the contact coming. He's looking back, and that linebacker just...
That was Thomas Rowan again.
Yeah, lined him up. That ball's in the air. He turns, peels towards that, and he's just took too long to get that ball there. He did have an opportunity to catch it, so they'll be back to the air. Something that, they had a little bit of success today throwing the ball. They have some matchups they went after a little bit early, but they haven't really gone back to those there. Again, colder, windier, you're down a lot. It's a little bit tougher to execute in situations like this.
They'll fake the handoff. McFall is going to get drilled, and there's a flag on Ben Hayden. Rob, this kind of is a flag to me, and you can tell me I'm wrong, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if it wasn't a 42-point game, that flag probably doesn't get thrown.
I agree with you. I don't think there's...
I'm going to say roughing the pass with contact to the head. 15-yard penalty, first down.
There was contact to the head, but he's kind of fallen out of the way as well.
Yeah, he's fallen down. He didn't even really lower himself to make a tackle. He just kind of was running at him as he fell. He kind of ran over him a little bit there. But, that's a call that they'll give him at this point in time, 49-7. That's a good decision by the officials. Good call, but may not see the exact same thing in every game, different situation. So lined up at the 39 are the St. Joe's Celtics, ready to operate.
They will hand it off to Heemstra. Good team tackling by the Raiders. Heemstra still able to fall forward. Picks up about 5.
I've been impressed by this back, and he's run well, and again, he's hitting the hole hard. And you always got to wonder what makes a great running back in the game of football. Is it the back? Is it the offensive line? Can you have a great running back without an offensive line? Can you have a great offensive line that won't create a great running back? I think you're seeing a combination on the field here today, but a very good back, I feel, on St. Joe's side as well, just not able to get it done like he was hoping to today.
Pass out wide, falls incomplete. And you've seen there was a hit there with the ball in the area as well, made by Rowan, physical linebacker. And the Celtics player is a bit shaken up.
That once again is very, very close to a lateral and not a forward pass. Again, his hand looked like it was just behind the white line of the 40 when he was throwing that, and the ball landed about the exact same spot. So it could have gone either way, obviously blown dead. You want to play that through to the end because you never know. We're going to flip ends here, take a 2-minute break before the 4th quarter.
So we are in run time. Knights are up 49-7 with 1 quarter left to play, looking to close in on a provincial championship.
Yo, check the rhythm, feel the vibe, beats dropping hard, making heads collide, bass thumping loud, shaking up the street. Every step I take, moving to the beat, lightning fast, I'm breaking it down, feeling the pulse in every sound, never miss a step, always on the move. The beat's my partner, we groove as 1, 2. I close my eyes and let the music flow in this crazy world. It's the only thing I know. The rhythm.
We are back at Lincoln Henson Field here in Grand Prairie. Celtics driving with the ball. It is a 3rd and 5 from the Knights' 34, and they're looking to keep their offense on the field. It's an IC Live Procast. Connor Toffin and Rob Harrod on the call with 12 minutes left to go in this Alberta Bowl Championship. Knights have been well in control in this game. McFault, backwards pass. Kind of a run play here for Wanuk. And he is stopped short.
Yeah, looking to go downfield, and then he just dumps it off to the swing pass here. That's what was there. Again, definitely a backwards pass on that one, but good job securing that. And again, just not enough space for him to get the first down. So the Knights back on the field here.
We did see
to get more as that clock winds.
Did see an injured player at the end of that first half. It was Aiden Hunt, who went off for the Celtics. You can see him on the trainer's table right now. So Knights offense will get another chance here, which has been, that for the first half today, we only had 13 throws. Both teams have just been looking to run and run and run and run. They've looked in the direction of Polzer all day. He won't be getting the ball here.
He did get it. He actually came out of the slot. They're just giving him a different way. So they lined up with 4 receivers to the right, Polzer being the 3rd from the inside, and they just all motioned back in, got some lead blocking, and away he goes, just finding a different way to get the same guy the ball. He's doing an outstanding job, having quite a night. Wouldn't be surprised if a couple rushing records are set by him or touchdown records.
Number 7, 5-yard penalty.
This one won't count for him as this one's going backwards, but still first down, still lots of chances to give him the ball on this special night for him.
So you've coached in some of these games. You won by 50 yesterday. How does your coaching change when you're up by 42?
You know, you still have to coach, and you still need to expect your players to execute whatever you're calling. And you know, no one wants to run up the score. No one wants to do that. That's not what the game is about, and that's not what winning is about. But at the same time, you're teaching these kids, you know what, you play football at a high level for a reason. You continue to play high level. And I tell our players, you know what, we will manage the personnel as coaches. We'll put different people on the field.
A little extra after the play here. Might have been an extra shot on Ben Gutek. They talk about competing to the very end, and there is obviously going to be flags thrown.
Yeah, we'll get that flag, and they'll sort it out. And so you want to, it's got to have a balance, you know, and like you want to have maybe some different. We're getting the call there. You want to have different guys get in the game. So like on the night of the grade 12s, it's their last night of football of their high school careers. You know, for them, it'd be great for them to get on the field. So, you know, you get them a few reps on the field, get them an opportunity, and does it maybe sacrifice, you know, another score or another drive? Possibly, but that's the experience you want to get.
Play, we have 2 infractions. Unnecessary roughness, number 71. Unnecessary roughness, number 7. That's a 30-yard penalty. First down repeated.
It's funny, you hear some angry voices there. That was from the ref, Mike.
We'll see where the couple penalties come here, as it was mostly at the end.
But you know, Rob, these guys in stripes have done a pretty good job all weekend.
Yeah, they've done an outstanding job. And again, it's a lot for them. It is cold out there for them, just like the players, just like our camera crew, the fans. I mean, everyone outside, other than maybe a few of us here in the press box and in the score room over there. I mean, it is a cold night. It's not easy to be outside, but of course, when you're on the winning side of a game like this, you're pretty ecstatic to be out here cheering on your child as they compete at a provincial championship level, which has been, again, outstanding football all weekend long. And looking forward for the last one coming up between Harry Ainley and Raymond. But The field is long. It is not first and 15. It is first and about 30. I think the yard to gain is the 45, and where are they at the 5 even? Maybe more than that. It could be 40 yards. It's a long ways to go, but the Knights are not shy of getting big explosive plays. So some positive yards, about 10 on that one, but
Stewart.
Still a long way to go. I do like how the Knights are actually using poles. They're more of a distraction. We talked about the candy factor of, hang the candy out there, defense goes and chases them down. I do see making some substitutions here. 3rd and 40 is what it says on the clock. I'm not sure it's quite that far, but the yard to gain is, I believe, right around the 45. Can't quite see because of the excited fans, of course, standing and watching this one, just like we are. But about the 45. So, yeah, there we go. 3rd and 30 here. It's probably the punt team on there. We'll punt this one away.
We're thinking it's the punt team down there.
Yeah, it looks like the punt team way down at the far end. There's someone standing back there. I don't know. And this time, maybe just give up the safety and trying to get the offside. A little bit of a high snap, and they will run around in the back end and
give up the safety. And just trying to take some time off here.
Well, and the interesting thing is, with it being run time, you don't need to because the clock will continue. So you can run around. In theory, I guess it takes a few seconds off, but the clock is going to run, so you could take a knee and just be slow giving the ball to the ref, and you're going to get time off the clock. So, or maybe you go slide in the snowbank in the back and lose the football and just let that clock run a little bit further. I mean, of course, you want to get football in, and people traveled a long ways. I mean, St. Joe's came a little bit closer, a little short commute for them, but everybody else has, and the opportunity to get a little bit more football in for some of these guys that maybe are playing their last high school football game. And, of course, it's always grassroots football builds youth sport, and youth sport builds the CFL, and then, some of these guys one day, you never know, may have that opportunity to play youth sport or CJFL football, and then maybe on to the pros if they have a good few years at the next level.
So Celtics, after the safety, will take over at the 35. It has been a dominant year and a dominant provincial run here for Holy Trinity. They beat Medicine Hat 44-10. George McDougall 57-24 on their road to Grand Prairie. Here's a handoff to Heemstra, and maybe, Rob, their best performance coming in their biggest game as they are up by 40.
Yeah, it's just, game plan coming in. They were able to execute. I don't even know if they needed to get to the second level of their game plan. You always, hey, here's what we're going to try to do. And if, they find a way to stop that, we go to the next level. I mean, they just weren't able to. They had no answer for this run game of the Knights. But the St. Joe's are on the field trying to move the ball here, 2nd and 5.
McFault checks it down to Wanuk, taken down at the 40. Once again, it's Thomas Rowan.
Yeah, and the pass again behind the line of scrimmage. He's got to get 5-6 yards upfield before he even gets to the line of scrimmage, and this defense just firing on all cylinders, just speed to the edge, just had a great tackle there. See him lowering the shoulder, wrapping it up around the legs, and just shuts it down there for maybe a gain of 1 yard. So some outstanding defensive play. We've talked a lot about the offense of the Knights, but this St. Joe's team can score some points, and this defense has really limited that to the 7 points they got, and then the safety when they didn't get that drive going. So punting it away, net exchange for the Knights is pretty good. After giving up the safety, they are going to get the ball back. Pretty decent field position.
Punt taken just outside the 40 by Malik Robbins.
We've got a flag.
Yeah, Robbins.
Right in the middle of the field.
Robbins, multi-sport athlete, also plays, I'll say this, it's a good guy to have as your punt returner when he's a center fielder on the Okotoks Dogs. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Dogs baseball program, that's essentially, if I could compare it to a football team here in the ASAA.
Return, illegal block, number 19. 10-yard penalty, first down.
If I could compare it to a football team, it would probably be Harry Ainley, where the Dogs are just so much talent. Center field, obviously a huge position in baseball, and you're not going to be playing center field for really any Okotoks Dogs team unless you're pretty elite at the game. So I'm a good two-sport athlete, and you think tracking a ball down in center field,
tracking a
dealing
ball
with the
is a
sun,
skill
dealing
for
with
sure.
the lights, and transitions pretty well to be a kick returner.
Yeah,
We're
for
under
sure it is.
3 minutes to go. Another give here to Pulser. He's pushed out right around that first down yardstick. Looks like he might have enough here.
Well, and again, this is what they want to do, and then kind of keep your offense on the field here. Just run this one out. Again, not worried about going out of bounds because the clock's going to stop anyways. Worried about his health. He's a young man. I'm guessing we're going to see in the future years at the next level playing football. I'm sure the scouts are liking what they see in him. If he goes to the U of A, that'll be great for Northern Alberta football to be able to watch him over his university career.
Another give to Pulser. This time he'll be met at the line, and you see why he's so good. Still just driving forward. Turns what would have been maybe a 1 or 2 yard gain into a lot more.
Yeah, I like what they're doing just to finish this one off. Just keep it on the ground. Give it to the back that's got you here. This 49-point lead. I mean, obviously it's a team sport, a team effort, but man, having a dynamic back and an offensive line operating in sync like we've seen tonight is something special to see a run game like this.
Whole line's going to get another huge hole here for Pulser, who takes it across the 30 and is down at the 25.
That man is having a fun day. It has been a lot of fun football. The best way to play football is have fun doing it. Sometimes it's all one way, and it seems to be all nights tonight.
Remember, early on in this game, too, within the first minute, Knights had jumped out to a 14-0 lead. It was a 60-yard run for Pulser, and then a miscue on the Celtics return, and then a 1 yard run into the end zone for Pulser. Celtics did respond right away, had a great drive. Looked like we might have had a close game, but since then, 35 of the last 37 points have been scored by the Knights. There was a flag early on that down as we got just about a minute left to play.
This one's coming back, so they're going to just under a minute here,
Yeah,
so they're going to have to talk about it, move it back, place the ball. We could be looking at a play or two left in this one.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty, first down repeated.
So it'll come back out just outside the 35. You hear the Knights crowd up. Some of them got the pom-poms, the cowbells, the bam-bams, as I learned they've been called.
Thunder sticks, you got all sorts of stuff out there, and of course, more fans on their feet as they cheer their team on as this clock winds from 22 seconds going down, won't be stopped. And they're just having a conversation here what the plan is. So it looks like maybe they're just taking a knee. It's gonna wrap up this championship game here. That's the knee. This will hit 0 and they'll take it once more. And congratulations is well deserved by the Holy Trinity Academy Knights.
One more knee for Declan Lith, and this one is over. 49-9. The Holy Trinity Academy Knights are provincial champions.
And you see 44 from the Knights. Just pick it up, guys, from St. Joe's. Being encouraging. And you talk about the spirit of the game, and that really is what it's about, because with the jubilation for the Knights comes heartbreak for St. Joe's. Battled so long and so hard to get here and compete in this championship game, and it just was not their night against these Knights, who are doing an outstanding job with the run game and really just controlling this from the very beginning.
If you think Seth Pulser is exhausted, or Ben Hayden, who's been rushing the quarterback today, they both just did about a 50-yard dash into the end zone like it was a slip and slide. Having some fun in the snow, as the Knights did all day. Obviously, there's some heartbreak here for the Celtics. You know, Rob, I think you and I have probably both been through this, realizing that, you know, maybe it's not only the loss for some of these guys, right? But for some of them, it'll also be their last football game. And, you know, a lot of these young guys got a lot to look forward to in football, but also in life. But it is definitely a bit of a heartbreaker. I'll always remember when I walked off the baseball field for the last time, and it hurts, but You learn a lot from these moments as well.
It's part of sport, but it's also part of life. You mean, there's times in life that come to an end, and you got to deal with what kind of ever emotion comes with those types of endings. And for a couple of these 12s, when you think about the number of athletes that play high school football and the number that go on to the next level, it's very few. I've heard as low as 3 to 5%, and then from youth sport to the next level. So you're talking a fraction of a percent going to the pros. And so this is their experience. And as coaches, you coach that into them, the life skills they can draw from football. And, I've had lots of conversations with hundreds of athletes over the years. And, football is just a game, but it's a game where we can learn so much about ourselves, about others, about how we interact and how we respond to adversity. Every kid out here has lost a game or has made a mistake, and you make a mistake on one play. The great thing about sport is you have the next play to change that and do something different or do something better, and you continue to grow. And it's just an ongoing growth journey for these guys. And as we watch them exchange hands, the two long lines, again, lots of emotions going through. Some guys going to be returning to both these programs, of course, and some will be moving on to other things. And whether that's football or a little bit of life, it's going to be some exciting times. But for the Knights, they're doing the penguin slide on the snow. A little salute to the country of Canada. We have lots of snow going on, and they are in celebration mode here in Grande Prairie, Alberta.
Seen a couple guys pass up on the dive. Just a couple guys are sick of playing in the snow.
I've had enough of this. Let me get back to that warm change room. We can celebrate in there. But some awards are going to be passed out here as the long handshake line continues with different members of each organization or each school, staff and students, all alike. And then we've got the presentations of the awards, of course, at the end of this one.
I think sometimes too, Rob, we do forget that these are, in the end, when the helmets are off, the pads are off, these are just high school kids who love to have fun, and there's been so much of it had here in these provincial championships. Great job hosting by Grande Prairie with one game left to go. And yeah, be sure to stick with us. Trophy presentation coming up. I think the Celtics can be proud of the way they fought to the end as well. Obviously, it's been a very successful season as well, so they're gonna bring both teams to line up on their respective sides of the field. You've seen some 6-a-side, 9-a-side stuff, a lot more guys to get organized here between the Knights and the Celtics, but I am gonna throw to the in-house announcer here at Lincoln Hansen Field as the Knights take home a provincial championship.
I hated it. I was like, get away from me. I tried to hold a hand. I'm like, no, buddy. Power the ass on. See, we rose to it. Because it got hot. Rose to it. Yeah, this is what it is. So it was, that's what it was on all the and then I got warm, and we shut it off. Anybody's wanting to know about the sucker off the phone.
Quick prayer and a moment of unity between these two teams who just did battle on the field for 48 minutes, and now we will get the trophy presentation underway.
bad they didn't do an offensive player of the game and a defensive player of the game. They do, don't they? Player of the game.
Presenting the plaques and banners for today's game will be Jodianne Noel, Chair of the Alberta Bowl Host Committee, and Mr. George Grant, ASAA Football Commissioner. At this time, we'd ask the captains of today's provincial finalists, the St. Joe Celtics, to please come forward to receive their finalist plaque. And now we'll ask the captains of the provincial champion Holy Trinity Academy Knights of Okotoks to please come forward to accept the 4A championship plaque and banner, emblematic of provincial supremacy at the 4A level in the province of Alberta for 2024.
Good job, boys.
What's the name of that photographer again?
It'll be a night to remember forever for the Holy Trinity Academy Knights, provincial champions, 49-9. We got one more game coming right up. Harry Ainley and Raymond, you won't want to miss it, but for now, the Knights can celebrate.
Yo, check the rhythm, feel the vibe, beats dropping hard, making heads collide, bass thumping loud, shaking up the street. Every step I take, moving to the beat, lightning fast, I'm breaking it down, feeling the pulse in every sound, never miss a step, always on the move. The beat's my partner, we groove as 1, 2.
Close my eyes and let the music flow.